Hey guys, it's Rob here again. So today we got another variable voltage and variable wattage box mod to do a review on. Now this box mod is a clone of the Granovation's GI2 mod. Now the company that actually made this is Smokjoy, and I did get this off of a group buy with Terry Beer on Vape Collective and group buys on Facebook. Now this is a real nice mod, and you guys might have seen the original one. Sorry about that, but you might have seen the original one, but like you say, this is the clone, and a lot of the issues have been fixed from the original ones where they had the self-locking and continuous firing when you locked it or hit the couple buttons, and the time it takes to shut the coil power off and stuff like that. Now they did fix those, but it does have one little thing on it, but it doesn't seem to bother me. We'll talk about it when we get down up and close on this. Really produces some good vapor production. Now this mod will go from 5.5 volts or 100 watts. Now this is made specifically for sub-ohming. It's not made for your 1.5 ohm coils, your 2 ohm coils. You're going to get your best sweet spot on this is a 0.3 ohm sub-ohm coil right here. 0.3, you're going to get your 5.5 volts and you're going to get your 100 watts. So this mod does regulate for what you have on it. So you can crank this up to 5.5 volts, and once you take that first hit, it's going to regulate the voltage down to where it needs to be for a good vape on that type of sub-ohm coil that you have. Along with the wattage, it's going to adjust the wattage automatically. So the sweet spot to get your 5.5 volts and your 100 watts is going to be a 0.3 sub-ohm coil build. Whew! So let's go ahead and take this down on the table and we'll take a look at this bad boy. So okay guys, this is the box that it did come in. It comes in a nice little pouch with a little clip hook, so you can clip it on your belt loop or anything like that. It's kind of sturdy. As you can tell, it does also have the color of the mod. I do have the gold version of the GI2 clone. So let's go ahead and open this up. Nice little pouch. It does come with a nice little instruction booklet here. Right there. It is in English, and it's a pretty good informational type of instruction booklet. It does have tells you the minimum output capacity, the maximum output capacity, minimum output voltage, maximum resistance. So the minimum resistance is going to be a 0.1 ohm coil is going to be the minimum resistance, which I have actually put a 0.8 ohm coil on this, and it did fire at somewhere like 3.7 volts. Maximum resistance is 4.0 ohms, and so yeah, I mean it works real well. So it tells you what buttons do what. You can even put screensaver on this, which I'll show you a screensaver that I do have on this. It just tells you what you can and can't do and how to work the mod. It's a real nice little instruction manual, not real big, not little small, but it gives you all the information you need. So it does have these little pockets here, so you can put your mod in there. Now it will not go in there with a RDA or anything on there. You cannot close it up. You close it half-ass, but it's more you take the RDA off and you put it in there. So let's go ahead and close that up. We'll put that back off to the side here. So alright, here it is right here. Now once again, I do have the gold version of this. Real nice little mod. As you can see, it's the nice little screen right there. I'm not 100% for sure. I think this is like a 1x1.5 screen, something like that. And you do have your plus and minus down here, and then you have your menu menu here and your power for your fire and the coil right here, and then you got your, once again, minus and plus right there. So alright, that's all there is to this thing right here. It's a nice little unique little shape here. It's not real big. I'd say it's probably about around a 3-inch, maybe 3.5-inch tall, and probably around 2-inch wide right here. It's not real big. And then you got your GI2 or GI logo right there. Nothing on the bottom or anything like that. So let's go ahead and take the RDA off this. Got a little juice on there, and there's the 510 connection. Real nice little paint job on this, and this is a aluminum box here, and that is nice and flush. As you can tell, the 510 connection is flush on this, and all the RDAs, this is spring loaded 510, so all the RDAs that I have put on this do sit perfectly flush on this mod. Perfectly flush on this mod right here. So yeah, the RDA does sit straight. No, it's not leaning off to the sides or anything like that. Looks real nice. So let's go ahead and power this thing up here. So basically, here you go. Here's the screen on this. As you can tell, I got this in voltage mode, which you got the 4.4 volts. You do have your little coil resistance right there, little diagram, and it does say at the bottom, it says variable voltage mode is what I am in. So now it says the power, which is your wattage. It says I got 77 watts. Resistance on this is 0.25. Once again, a 0.3 is going to get you 5.5 volts at 100 watts. And then you got your amps or your current, which is 17.6 amps. And then down here you have your puff counter. So it does have, I got mine set for 3 seconds. It won't vape any longer than 3 seconds, but you can put it up to 5 to 10 to 15. I believe it's 15. We'll check that when we go in the menu. But then that's your puffing counter right there. And then you got your battery voltage life, which I got 8.2 volts, so pretty much a freshly charged batteries. Now this is a dual battery in series mod here. And then you got your little lock screen down there. You got your settings there, and then you got your little information right there about the mod and everything like that. All your information, what all the alarms and everything else do. So basically, to get this in variable wattage, you got to hit the menu button, which is the bottom one, and then you hit your minus button right here. So you push this down, hold it, and then hit that, and now we change to variable wattage. As you can tell, it says 77 watts, so the only thing difference is the voltage is over here on this side of the screen, and when you go to wattage, it flips over to this side of the screen. Basically the same as the original. And then you hit this button here, and then it tells you what your resistance, your wattage is, and same thing. It says I'm doing 4.3 volts, 17.2 amps. So yeah, that's how you do that. So to get into the to get to your voltage, you got to hit the menu once again, and then the plus symbol, and it'll take you to voltage right there. Alright, so that's how you do that. Now this is your plus and minus. So this side's your minus, so that will take your voltage down. As you can see, I'm down to 4.0, and then this plus will take your voltage up. Same way with wattage, it's minus and positive. Alright, so if I want to get to my screensaver, I hit the menu button once again, and then I change this to wattage. You got to be in wattage mode first, so you hit the menu and the minus. Now you're in wattage, and then you hit the menu and a minus again, and it'll take you to your screensaver. There you go, there's my screensaver. I got Vapor Street right there, and it says VCGB, which is Vape Collective Group Buys, and that's where I got this from. I did put this on this mod here. So basically, I know a lot of people might have issues with this, but basically this has to be an ADT.jpg file. It has to be, and it's only like 168 by 121 pixel image. That's all that you can put on this. You can't put a bigger size image on this, and it has to be renamed to an adt.jpg file. These will not read any other file besides an adt.jpg file. Alright, so if you're having problems with installing it, you basically just take the micro SD card, you take it out, put it in your computer, open up the file on this, and then you just take a file that you've made and transfer it over to the SD card, but you got to make sure it is an adt.jpg file, and it can only be like a 168 by 121. It won't go, if you try to throw a bigger file in there, it won't work. So a lot of people are having issues with getting the file on there. So that's just a quick thing on how to get. So basically, to get out of this, you just do it again. It's the menu and the minus button again. So that's it on that. That's how to get your thing. So the menu and the minus will get you into variable wattage, and then do it again will get you to your screensaver, and then menu plus your, and the plus sign will take you to variable voltage, and nothing else does anything on that. So that's it on those. So that's how you get to that. Take that back down. So to get into the modes down here at the bottom, you just hold the menu button in until that highlights, till the lock highlights. So you just hold it in, and then that highlights, as you can see that, and then you just use the plus and minus to scroll around. So this is basically lock. You hit that, and then you hit the fire button, actuates it. So there you go, now we're locked. To get back out, you just have to hit these two buttons here together. You got to hit your menu and the fire button at the same time. There you go, that'll get you out. And then also, to lock this without using that going to the screen, you can hold these two buttons in once again. Hold them in, and it'll go to the lock screen. And then you hold them in again, it takes you right back out. So let's hold that back in and get back into the settings again. So you hold the menu button, gets you into the settings, and then you hit the plus to get over here into the settings mode right here, and then hit your fire button. That takes you in there. So you can adjust your brightness. I got it on high. Let's go ahead and change that down to low. I actually like it on low to save on battery. So you just hit your minus and plus will adjust your high and low. Let's go ahead and leave it in high for this review here. So then you just scroll down by hitting your, let's get back in there. So by hitting your fire button, it'll scroll through. So you got smoke time is set for 5 seconds. Let's change this to, I want to go to 3 seconds. And then you got your variable voltage. It tells you what your variable voltage is. So you can actually set your variable voltage and variable wattage also in this menu. So then when you're done, you can just sit there and you just hit the menu button again, and it takes you right back out. So let's hold the menu button in again and get back to the bottom. Okay, so now we hit the plus and scroll over to this option here, and this is just the notepad. It tells you it's Granovation, and this gives you all the alarms. So you got your ANP means ADDI not present, your OCP is overcurrent, the OVP is over voltage, and TOT is timeout timer. And then you got your system units where you got your resistance. So R is resistance, E is voltage, currents I, and power is P. So then we go ahead and get back out, go back to the menu here. And then let's hold the menu again. Let's go to the last one. Okay. And then we go in here, hit the fire button, and this just says what the device, it just says about the device. It does say Granovations, model GI2, manufacturer, serial number, and the website of Granovations. Alright, let's hit the menu button again. So okay, that's all the menus there. And I just want to show you another thing. What's nice on this is we can shut this off to save on battery. I believe the original one didn't do that, and as you notice, I hit these buttons and it never did lock and fire this at the same time. So that part has been fixed. And then also we can actually shut this 100% down. You hit these two buttons and you get in your lock mode, Now we're in the lock mode. Now you just hold the fire button until it's completely off. Now we're off. So now we got the off mode to save on battery. So hell yeah, you can just save on battery all the time. This thing has lasted me about 8 hours with shutting it off when I wasn't using it. And it also does have the thing where it'll go dark after you let it sit for a while. The screen will go blank or black when you just let it sit. To turn this back on, you just hit the fire button again, power standby, hit it again, or hold it in. You got to hold it in. Initializes. This loads real fast with the SD card, and this did come with an SD card already on it. So you see how fast that loads. It does not take no time at all. But this is the one thing that I wanted to show you that it does have. It does have a little bit of a delay on this here. Let's go ahead and take the chuff cap off this. So I'm going to go ahead, and that also saves all your settings when you do that. When you set that off yourself, it does save all your settings. The only time you have to re-put your settings in is if you pull the batteries out, and then you have to do the settings again. But watch this. I'll go ahead and hit the firing button, and it does have a delay on when it fires. Here we go. See that? So it does have about half a second delay, but as you can tell, it does shut off instantly. See how it shuts off? You got no delay on the shut off, but you do have a delay on firing. Alright, so that's the only thing that this does have that seemed to be maybe an issue for some people, is that it does have that little delay for startup. But all the other issues that the original had have been fixed. So I've really been enjoying this little mod right here for variable voltage and variable wattage. So let's go ahead and show you the back. You do got the slide cover here. Easy access door. There is no magnets. Easy access. Slides right off. And let's go ahead and pull the batteries out. I do have some VTC 5s in here. Alright, so there's the inside here. You do got your little boards here on the bottom and your boards on the top here. Alright, and your battery connections. And there's your micro SD card right there. It just spring clips in. I've found out that if you push it in and slowly go out, it will snag. So you just push it in and let off, and it just flings it out. It makes it so much easier to get in and out. But you need to have that in, and it will, so it boot up quick. So once again, this is series. So basically, just got to put them in. It does have the diagram of the batteries, so you should not have to worry about putting them in backwards. Right there, we got that in. And this does slide on real nice. No issues whatsoever right there. And it's not going to just fall off. See that? I really actually have to push to get it off. It stays in nice and tight. And then you go into your standby mode, and then you just hold your fire button until it fires up. Alright? And there's my Vapor Street VCGB again. And as you can tell, it did reset all the settings. So then we'll just go ahead and we're in variable voltage. So then you just crank it right up. I'll crank it up to 4.4. Once you get used to what your RDA will handle, you just crank it right on up. Hit the power button once. Automatically adjust your wattage. As you can tell, it started off at 100. Now we can crank this all the way up to 5.5. And this is what we're going to do. We'll hit the button. You can see how it changes everything to what the RDA really should be. It says it really should be at 5 volts at 100 watts. So that's the safe point for this RDA right here. Now it's going down to 4.8. So there you go. 4.8 at 96 watts is the safe point for this RDA at 0.24 ohms. Alright, so that's nice. It does adjust. So basically a 3.0 ohm, 3.3 ohm RDA coil is going to get you your 100 watts at 5.5 volts. And I've got it like that, and it's hot. Barely take any hits. So let's go ahead and take this back up on the table, and we'll get this wrapped up. So alright guys, that was the review and the up close and personal with the GI2 clone from Smokjoy that I did get from a Facebook group with Terry Beer that I am also an admin of. So Here, let's go ahead and vape this. We got this at 4.8 at 96 watts at 20 amps. So yeah, I got 2 hits and I'm already dry. I'm already kind of getting a little burnt taste to that. So let's go ahead and put a little more on there and we'll vape a little bit more. 100 watts is a lot of wattage, and it is going to be a nice warm vape for your sub-ohms. Tons of fucking vapor production. It's alright, guys, as you can tell. Now, once again, I did put a 0.08 on this. My Doge RDA does have a 0.08 super sub-ohm built in there, and it read it. But the battery, you're only dumping the battery voltage on that. So a good sub-ohm, if you want to get the true 5.5 volts and the 100 watts that this baby will put out, is a 0.3 sub-ohm. And you'll be able to max this out, and then you can adjust the wattage however you like it or whatever, and then every once in a while you just crank it up and get yourself a 100 watt vape. Like I say, I'm vaping at 96 watts right now. So, alright guys, I really do enjoy this mod right here. It's a real nice variable voltage, variable wattage mod for your sub-ohm builders. Once again, this is not for your high ohm coil builders. This is for your sub-ohm, because it does only go up to 5.5 volts. I know a lot of people have been saying, why would you get that? It only goes up to 5.5. My such and such goes to 6.6. That's because this is strictly for sub-ohm people. And the other ones, like the IPv2s and IPv3s and stuff, those are made for your higher ohm coils. It's going to read, you're going to get a better, and your DNA 30s for your 1.2s, 1.4 ohm coils. This is strictly for your sub-ohm. Not saying it's not going to hit for a 1.2 or 1.4. It will go up to 4.0 ohms. It's just you're not going to get the same amount what you would for something that's got a higher voltage. Alright? So alright guys, till next time.